Good day, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emily Benitez. I'm a professional freelance certified makeup artist and licensed cosmetologist for about 10 years now, and I just wanted to get on YouTube and do some fun makeup. So today we're doing a Euphoria inspired makeup tutorial, and this is what I would wear if I was invited to their parties. So we're starting with brows. I keep my brows very simple. I'm pretty low maintenance with my brows. So I just take a liner brush and some eyebrow powder and just fill it in a little bit. That's it. Now I'm taking my Anastasia concealer. I normally don't use this much and this light, but we're using color today, so I'm going to be applying that all over my eyelids and blending that out with a synthetic buffing brush. Now, using the star of the show today is the Jaclyn 2 palette, or I'm going to list all the products down below. But we're using this bright purple shade and we're creating a inner crease and then blending that out. Then I'm just cleaning up the crease with some concealer, and then I applied this coral shade in the inner corner, and then I just ended up blending it out into more purple. So using the Carli Bybel eyeshadow palette, I love that chrome purple. I applied that all over the lid as kind of a background. And then now we're creating our winged eyeliners with the dark purple eyeshadow in the Jaclyn Hill palette. And then diffusing that with the same bright purple shade that we used in the inner crease. I'm bringing more of that dark purple in the inner corners of the upper crease area, as well as black eyeshadow. So for the glitter, I'm using that Mario highlighter to allow the glitter to stick better. And poor Tati Beauty, no more Tati Beauty. I love this palette, but I'm applying the glitters on the eyelid in an angle shape, and then finishing the eye with some eyeliner from Wet n Wild. And then using my favorite mascara, this was from Essie. And then to enhance the eyes, I'm using medium individual lashes, and I used about 5 or 6 clusters just on the outer corner. So we're using the e.l.f. Putty Primer. And I really like this formula. To correct my under eyes, I'm using this bright red shade. It's meant for correction, but for my skin tone, I added some concealer to it. And we're just going to apply that just where I have some darker areas. So for spot concealing, before we get into foundation, I like to use this Smashbox foundation. It is extremely high coverage, and I do not like the finish. It doesn't last long on my face, it ends up creasing, so I just use it for spot concealing. So for foundation, we're using the Loreal True Match, and it's too light for my skin, so I kind of darken it with a Nars Creamy Concealer. And then with a flat kabuki brush from e.l.f., I'm going to really buff it into the skin, mainly patting motions, as you can see here, and really get that to sink into the skin. And then once I'm done buffing in that foundation really well, I'm going in with a dry sponge just to pick up any remaining, oils and wax left from the foundation, like so. So now for concealer, I'm using the AnastasiaBeverley Hills and I really love this formula. I am a girl of texture. I am a girl with some fine lines underneath her eyes, and it just sits beautifully underneath my eyes, and it's a realistic finish for someone with my eye texture, so I highly recommend it. And just blending out that inner corner with a synthetic brush. So before we get into more creams, I'm just going to quickly set this with the face powder from Essie. It's no color, it's just a simple face powder. Going back with that Nars Creamy Concealer shade that's slightly darker that I mix with my foundation, I'm going to use that as a cream bronzer. With my It Cosmetics foundation brush, we're going to go ahead and work that into the skin with tapping motions for maximum blendability and longevity. Just tapping everything into the skin ensures that it will stay in place and you're not moving the foundation or any products underneath. Now I do apply bronzer on my nose, but you'll see why later on. It's just a quicker way for me to contour my nose. And then I just go down the center of my neck. I actually learned this from Mario Dedivanovic, so I never used to do it like this, but now I do, and I like it. Now for contouring, I always go towards a more realistic contour, and for that you will need a more neutral, cool toned brown. It looks almost gray. But this will ensure that it looks like a shadow that's actually providing dimension and depth underneath your cheekbones instead of like a forced contour. So I just apply it in these areas, the edges of my eyes, temples, cheekbones, and jawline, of course. But I do not contour my nose. So for the next step, now that we're getting into powders, I am drenching my face with some facial spray, setting spray, facial spray. Both of them work really well. Now, no one ever talks about this powder, but this is probably the best powder out there for oily skin if you're a makeup artist or if you have serious oily skin. It just does such an amazing job mattifying the skin to the point where I won't recommend this to be used every day. This is like, stage makeup, TV, but it's so good if you have seriously oily skin. So to brighten and to highlight, I'm using a foundation from Bare Minerals that's too light for my skin. And I'm applying that underneath my eyes, nose bridge, cut the contour, and because it's a foundation, it gives you a little bit of coverage. So for this part, we're using a foundation from Fenty Beauty that's also too dark for my skin, and I'm actually using this to marry everything together. It's not too dark and it's not too light. It's right in between, but it's slightly darker than my skin. So I'm using this mainly in the outer edges of my eyes, and the remaining applying it to the center of my face. Now I love this contour palette from KVD, and I'm using that to set the contour. As you guys can see, it looks almost gray in the pan. But if you want a realistic contour for my skin tone or lighter, you should definitely gear towards more of a grayish brown contour shade. You can get away with this by using your eyebrow powders. Now for the eyes, to finish them off, we're using the same purple colors, starting with the bright purple and then finishing with the dark purple just on the lower lashes with the liner brush. And I'm diffusing that with a blending brush just to make sure it's nice and soft. and then finish with the same mascara. So for blush, this is my favorite part out of everything. I'm using the eyeshadows from the Jaclyn Hill palette again. So we're using a bright hot pink eyeshadow mixed with that cream shade. And I mixed it in the back of my hand. And with this e.l.f. blush brush or contour brush, I'm going to be tapping that in and building up the color. And as you can see, I'm applying that basically underneath my eyes at an angle, avoiding the inner corner and not too high on the temples, not so like 80s. But yeah, it's a pretty high blush technique for a very lifted look. And then just the remaining on my forehead, nose, and a little bit on my chin. So for lip liner, I absolutely love this lip liner. It's probably my favorite lip liner of all time. It's from LA Girl. LA Girl, I mean, if you're sleeping on them, you are missing out. They have some of the best lip liner shades, and the formula is amazing. So as you can see here, it's just like such a really pretty, like neutral brown, natural color. Just to contour the lips, and that's it. I just apply it, overline a little bit, apply it in the outer corners. And I am not a gloss girl, but I like to apply the L'Oreal highlighter, the cream one, and just apply that in the center, and that's it for the lips. So for the jewels, I actually have this skeletal bejeweled sticker thing that I bought in a Halloween store. So I took it apart and just grabbed pieces that I liked, and I was just winging this and just created some sort of a princess crown with the jewels. Any jewels would be fine with Euphoria inspired makeup looks, so I thought this was appropriate. Anyways, it's my spin on a Euphoria look, so yeah, I loved how it came out. And to finish this makeup look, we're going to finish with my very loved and used Fenty highlighter, the diamond one. It has a very glittery, sparkly look, but it's fine. It's hard to explain, but it's a beautiful highlighter for a more festive makeup look. And that's it, you guys. That is my Euphoria inspired makeup tutorial. I hope you gained some techniques from this makeup, and all the products will be listed down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.